everybody. Welcome to another episode of Analytics Mindset. This is a little bit of a different episode. I will be going through a very specific certification I took not so long ago, and I was going to bring my next plan video, but I decided it would be good to just push this video out as it's already there. Being fully honest, it is easier for me to create a video about a certification I just took than to create my own original content from scratch and then post the code and then go through it. I will post that next episode soon, but in the meantime, this is kind of a part of the second season of Analytics Mindset, not really, but here you go. It's additional content if you wish. What am I going to talk to you about today? I'm going to talk to you about the Microsoft Applied Skills Create and Manage Automated Processes using Power Automate. This is a new certification by Microsoft, new on the applied skills side. How the applied skills differ from regular Microsoft certifications that I have shown you in the past, like the data analytics certification or the fundamentals of AI, etc. I will put those links here somewhere. Is that this is a practical certification. Those exams were theory. You first went through the learning path, got familiar yourself with all of the stuff going around, and then took a multiple choice exam, not different from your usual college exam or midterm, multiple choice, complete the prompt, etc. You can think through, I would say, of if you are at the grad level, the MCAT, the GRT, etc. All those kind of exams. All of them are more. You fill the blank, you do this, the MCAT, the LSAT, all of those ones. You create thing. You basically need to take exam. It's a theory exam. All of that. This is not that. This is more on the build something. If you don't work with a tool or you don't use it day to day, or you simply don't have access, because guess what? A lot of these tools that are very useful for multiple scenarios and are also very sought by recruiters and by hiring managers are very expensive. And if you're not employed, or if your employer just does not provide you with a license to a tool, then this is a good way to learn about it. I do have access to Power Automate in my current job, but I really wanted to brush up my skills in this environment that does not charge me or my employer anything. And I can do whatever I want, because when you're in a production environment, sometimes you are limited to what you can do, you need approval, etc. I got my certification in February the 2nd, 2025, 6 days ago from when I'm recording this. And it took me around, I would say, 7 hours in total, 5-ish hours in the material that I will go through in a second, and 2 hours more or less to actually get the certification through the project that I will also go into the assessment soon. First things first, this is the Power Automate Applied Skills homepage. I will leave this as well in the video, and you will have the link there. You can see here how it says I passed this credential, and it will take me to the actual credential page that I just showed you. It is for Power Automate, and it is on automation. I wanted to also take this to refresh myself on some ETL concepts, as my current job doesn't really involve a lot of ETL, basically besides high level. You need to demonstrate the ability to create and manage automated process with Power Automate, and you should be familiar with the Power Platform and Power Automate. It does give you an introduction, but if you're familiar with it, it's just going to be a way easier learning curve than if you're learning from scratch. You can see here how the actual learning path to take this exam is 3 hours and 26 minutes. I strongly recommend you going through all of it, even if you don't do every single thing all the way. And this is open book too. You can just have it open and refer back to it, and that will help you a lot more than just trying to do it blindly. Also, if you have noticed, I got a new laptop. If you think this is a better quality recording than previously, please let me know. I would appreciate it. You can see here how after you have completed all of this, you have 2 hours to complete this assessment. It is time, but it is open book. It is more related to what you have in your engineering classes or your programming classes. You get this project. It is not, you won't be able to find an answer online. And guess what? You also won't be able to use any LLMs, any of that. You need to build it yourself. That is in part why I took the certification and why I like it. You are going to have a simulation. It is a sandbox environment where you don't get charged by any resources and you can do whatever you want. And the best part is, even though Azure, for a lot of other trainings, you need to follow up and it will charge you some, especially after the $200 credit that they give you at the beginning expires or you use it up all. The advantage of this is it's a sandbox environment where whatever you do gets deleted after. It's fine because it's deleted after you finish it. It is very good for me at least because you don't get charged at all. You just do your learning, complete the work, and you're done. That is something. It's totally free. There is not really a lot of barriers. Again, the other exams that I showed you before or certifications usually cost $100 and 50 for me because Walmart pays for half of it. But just know that this is totally free. I strongly encourage it. If you are trying to either add something else to your resume or just brush up your skills or both, like me in my case. You will be recorded, at least in the lab. All of your mouse movements and text entered, just be aware of that, but it is expected. And after that, here you can see how I have my score. I got an 86%, and you can see actually in your results by it's just not going to give you a lot of details after that. How do I prepare for this? Well, there is the applied skills poster exam. I'm not going to go through this. You can go through it in your own. I already described it. How it differs from a traditional Microsoft certification is you are expected to do something, create stuff, and that's how you, when Microsoft behind the scenes does its comparisons in very obscure ways and says, is this running? Is this giving the expected output? Did you use the correct tools, the correct settings, all of that? It is a very good way to get practical skills, but yes, I won't go into all of these ones. You can go into your own time. The first learning path is they create and manage automated process by using Power Automate. As I said before, it takes 3 hours and 26 minutes. It took me around 4 hours to 4 hours and a half, I would say, mostly because I really wanted to be prepared and I did take my time with the assessments and quizzes. You can see how it says that you want to get started with how to create and manage automated processes in Power Automate. That's the whole deal of this certification. How Power Platform works and what are the basics of understanding Power Automate. It's composed on these modules that we will go through each of them really quickly. I do not want to make this video pretty long, but I want to make it informative enough for you to understand. Getting started with Power Automate. What is this talking about? You will first see what is Power Automate, what are its business uses, its use cases, and the basics of a flow. You can see here how you have first what is Power Automate, the basics. Then you will create a recurring flow, see how you can monitor emails, see how you share flows, troubleshoot flows, and then check your knowledge. I strongly recommend you, as I mentioned before in my other videos, to go through knowledge check. You can skip it, but it will really show you what's incorrect, what's correct there. And I really feel that will help you assess your learning on this module. And after that, you can just submit answers and get the feedback as many times as you want. That's the best part of it. From there, the second part is build approval flows with Power Automate. Power Automate, a very, very big use of Power Automate because it integrates so well with other Microsoft/Office 365 services, is that you can build a lot of approval requests. By approval request, I mean you may have your manager asking you, put this in the calendar when you're going to be out, or put in this master Excel spreadsheet so everybody in the team can know, we can plan it out. That's a way to track time off, but Power Automate is able to do it by itself. Power Automate really can just take that, update all of that, because it's a Microsoft solution. It's well integrated into the Microsoft ecosystem. If you use Outlook, if you use Excel, if you track everything through SharePoint, Power Automate makes it very seamlessly to just take your approval list, take all your reference spreadsheets and all, and upload it like this in a SharePoint list. That is the main point of this mod. It is pretty good, I would say. You can actually put conditions to Power Automate can be very, very strong when it's integrating in Microsoft ecosystem. My experience is it's a basic ETL tool. This Tableau Prep has a lot more capabilities, in my opinion, than Power Automate. But if you are in the actual Microsoft ecosystem, and Tableau Prep is one of the most basic ETL tools, just for some context. If you're in the Microsoft ecosystem, it makes it easy to do a lot of stuff that you just do manually. For tech-savvy managers, Power Automate really can help you a lot and simplify a lot of stuff in your day-to-day. Take that. If you want to go back and see if your company offers Power Automate, and if they do, how can you use it to leverage all of these tools better? You can also manage user information. By that means that you can actually say, how can I get access to locations all day? This is on the app side. So Power Automate has two main components, it has more than that. But for this, what matters is you have the web component that you run into your browser, but you also have an app that can take things like the locations of the user or the date, and it does it through the app. It has interfaces with both Android and iOS, and has a lot of the user input, how to accept user input, how can you block calendar time. This is an exercise that I will just show you around. You can see block out my Office 365 calendar in an hour, and you can actually create a Power Automate flow that is going to take your user ID, and you can just press a button in the app that will schedule that block on your calendar in Outlook. And again, all of this is possible. There you go. An instant flow, that's what's called. This is possible because Power Automate is so well integrated into the Microsoft ecosystem. Copilot is also a big chunk of it. You will see it everywhere in this certification. Copilot allows you to put a prompt, and Microsoft is going to try to guess what you want to do. And if your company again offers you that, I will honestly ask to try that. First, learn how to do it here in this environment, and then try putting some flows. Maybe you are on. I want to block my lunchtime because I need to go somewhere else. You can just put the Power Automate app and then click this button. It's going to block your calendar for a whole hour. Those are just some small examples of the automation that you can do in Power Automate because it's so integrated in the Microsoft ecosystem again. If you are more in the Google ecosystem or another provider of these different tools, then this really does not apply to you unless you go through a more cumbersome integration, because Power Automate does have the option to integrate with APIs and custom APIs and all of that. Talking about integration with APIs, that is part of it. The other part of it is Power Automate also allows you to take stuff from others things, like you can take SQL databases, Azure more specifically, from other providers. It's more difficult. You can take stuff from Power Apps and SharePoint and Dynamics 365. You can retrieve different stuff from Power Automate by connecting from creating a new flow, and then you can add from the templates the Power Apps, for example, and SharePoint. You can create a flow. A lot of stuff is in SharePoint lately. You can create an app from there, and you can take that from there. You can update stuff. So you can do rules like, if this in Power Automate It's true. Let's say I add a new file into my SharePoint list that management is just monitoring, send an email to this distro. You can do that. All of that. And it is very, very easy to do to some degree. Power Automate is more of a drag and drop tool. You can also monitor flows. That is the last part I'm going to cover in this video, is that you can see when a flow goes through, what happened to it, did it actually run, the trigger, what happened when the trigger went through, the flow failed to run. That's the other thing. For example, you try to send a work from home today email to your colleagues, but guess what? That flow failed to run because of some reasons. You can show the details in Microsoft shows you that you can do it here in the app. I would recommend you going to desktop. It's just that simple. But you can also do it through a manual desktop. And you can actually edit some stuff in the app. It's not as good as it was before because it's more, Microsoft realized it was actually a pretty cumbersome integration, but you can still troubleshoot to some degree in the app. 9 times out of 10, if your flow fails, most likely you will just go to your computer and do it there. But it is an option that you have there. Finally, the guided project is very similar to the actual certification. You will do very, very similar, and that's why I recommend you to actually go through this. You first will create a custom table in Power Apps for this guided project at least. Then it will show you how to create a scheduled flow, and then you will actually run that flow. My opinion, I did this and then I actually did the certification here, literally just after it. It is very useful. This certification is very similar. I won't run it because it will be a sandbox and it will actually attempt my try, but you can actually do this. It's a very similar thing. You will get a prompt and you will be basically said, hey, do this. This needs to fulfill these requirements. And you can see here, it tell you do all of this. It needs to meet these requirements, but it will guide you through it. It is basically the same problem. The difference with that you need to actually do it without this detailed guidance in the actual project, and you will have 2 hours to do it. But yeah, that is it. It's an intermediate certification, and you will be challenged again if you don't have previous experience with Power Automate. But especially if your company lives in the office environment, I feel this is a very strong plus to have. It is free, totally free. And also, if you are going into the more administration side of it, or you want to develop further your skills, this is a good stepping stone. It's not going to get your job by itself. Let's be realistic here. Also in the job market right now. But it will be a good stepping stone for your career or a good boost as you prefer. And yeah, that's all. I just wanted to share that with you guys. As always, any feedback you may have for me, please drop in the comments, drop a like, and I hope I see you soon. Bye bye.